Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Xero number 188S-GY. This is self-adhesive gasketing from Xero, their 188S. And I'm going to liberate a piece of it out of here. This happens to be a 17-foot roll, or a 3070. And thank you, Xero, for learning how to interpolate door sizes into the appropriate quantity of inches. So what I'm going to do is pause this video. I'm going to pull a little. I know that this happens to be longer than the client needs because they actually have 6'8" doors, so I'm going to snip a little 1-inch piece of this off so we can get it up close to the camera. Okay, here we go. Got a small piece of it here. So this is gray, and that's what the GY obviously stands for. This is a self-adhesive teardropped shape piece of silicone self-adhesive gasketing, and this material is going to be specifically used when you're looking to provide an air seal and a sound seal sort of application. Move this out of the way. The 188S is also something that's going to give you the ability to have a smoke seal. And that's really where you're going to see the 188 type material used, because you'll have doors that are mandatorily listed as smoke rated doors, and every piece of equipment on the opening, of course, has to be compliant with that. And we know that this material is smoke rated because the manufacturer is telling us in their product catalog with the symbologies below: smoke rated, fire rated, sound rated, air infiltration rated. Those are the four images that are down below. Also, we can review different colors: your black, your brown, your clear, your gray, your white. They can give you a ligature resistant version, so that the material will, under just a few pounds of pressure, literally pull apart. Should that be a requirement in your application. They have a couple of other codes here, the FS and the BIO, that I have to look up. Oh, of course, I should have known. There is a model that has an intumescent as well, and that is going to give you a black thin strip of material that, under the presence of heat, will greatly expand and seal off that opening. Then the other is BIO. I could have guessed on both of those, but a BIO is an antibacterial type of rubber that would be very appropriate for your hospital sort of scenario. Okay. Now, installing this material is comprehensively quite easy. Although that doesn't mean it's without its pitfalls. First, dimensionally, it's a 1/2 inch. Uncompressed, it's a 1/4 inch. I would be looking to use this material when I had standard door gaps between my door and frame, meaning I had a 1/4 inch total pre-fit so that my door size did not exceed what is permissible by NFPA 80 of a maximum of an 1/8 inch gap for a wood door. And when I compress this down, just with my caliper, I can get it to compress reasonably easily down to an 1/8 inch. So I wouldn't be wanting to squeeze that down too much below about 100 thousandths. And if you have a gap that's really tight, you will certainly need to look at a different model. They may have one that's 3/8, pardon me, that's 3/16. They do. It's the 488. So that will be that will give you a little bit better ability to compress, not substantially so. If you've got a real tight margin, you'll have a problem with using a self-adhesive piece of material. PSA, pressure sensitive adhesive. That's a 3M adhesive that's on the back of that. My experience tells me that 3M adhesive is the most superior formulations when it comes to adhesives. I've used it personally. I've used it on material like this, and it's really in my personal experience where I've learned using adhesives other than 3M and then using 3M, one is going to give you a real good chance at success, and in lots of instances you're going to regret using it because it doesn't come off, and then other scenarios where it will just fail. So the inclusion of 3M adhesive on the back of this is your best bet for a long-term solution in terms of reliability. Now, having said that, there is a link below this video to a document called Mounting Drawing, and that's going to be buried in the packaging herein for you. So let's go over it. And I have installed this material, so I've got experience with it. Before installation, and this is actually the most crucial part. Surface of frame to be thoroughly cleaned where the gasketing is to be applied. See the drawing. It doesn't go in the same place on the hinge side as it does on the lock side or on the header. Hinge side, it goes on the rabbet. Lock and head, lock jam and header, it goes onto the face of the stop. Either a solvent cleaner, such as mineral spirits, or common detergent cleaner may be used. Don't leave any wax film on there. Make sure that you are utterly clean of any impediments, dust, dirt, oil, grease, etc., or loose paint, or remove them prior to preparing the surface area. If what you have has been recently painted or stained, that material must be cured at least a week before you put anything on there. Your surface has to be completely and utterly dry and ready to receive material. Best applied between 70, typical room temperature, 70 and 90 degree Fahrenheit, and do not install it below 50 or above 100 degree Fahrenheit. That's a real thing. It can happen. You could have a space that doesn't have HVAC necessarily in Arizona. That's not a good time to put that on. Wait till nighttime. Recommend that the gasketing be installed after the doors and frames have been finished painted and the paint is dried. How to install? The first piece of gasketing should be the head piece and should be the entire length of the head. Measure and cut the weather strip to size and locate properly. See the drawing for where it's located. Leave approximately a 1/16 of an inch clearance between the seal and the door frame for clearance when compressed. So between, if we're looking at the hinge side, between the rabbet and the face of the stop, don't put this tight up against the face of the stop. Kick it back a 1/16 because that is a 1/2 of an inch, but when I do this, now we've got a 1/2 of an inch plus 25 thousandths. Hold it back a little bit is what they're saying. Whatever that dimension actually is. So first of all, cut all of the measure, the header, the two jams, cut all the pieces. Cut them to length, to the right size. Remove the paper backing from the self-adhesive strip, 1 to 2 feet at a time, and press firmly into place as you align and install the gasketing on the head. I agree. I like to work with a little shorter length and lots of pressure. Lots of pressure. The more that you do this, the better you will get at it being straight down the edge of the door and frame. Down the frame. I've seen installations where it's real wavy, someone moving real sloppily, quickly through it. You don't want that at all. Nice and straight. Don't pull the material taut or it will resume its natural elasticity, breaking the seal. You'll be checking for that an hour or so after your initial installation. And they say don't stretch it. Now the point of measuring and cutting it is so that if you're long, you know you've stretched it. Meaning if you've got too much left over, you know you've stretched it. Start over immediately. The header first, then the strike jam. Install the hinge jam last. And do not close the door immediately after the installation. Wait 20 or 30 minutes for the material, the adhesive, to really do its job. But you really want to be patient and liberal with the amount of force that you're applying. Not excessive, it's just not going to increase it. And in fact, I would argue that excessive pressure will actually work against your best interest by smushing the adhesive so it's no longer working properly. Just lots of good common sense pressure. Don't roll it with your thumb or like with a rolling pin or a rolling stretcher leveler. It's got to go on straight by hand. You stretch it, it's going to fail. I've done that in the past. Let the door sit, close the door. You'll want to check it before you leave the job site for the night. If you've recognized any removal after your 20 or 30 minute, immediately mitigate, repressure everything, and it should be okay. Just don't stretch it when you're installing it. Do it nice. If you have 2 feet of it in front of you, you're gonna want to stretch it because you are gonna want it to be straight. Work a little slower, work a little straighter. Keep the margin on the frame. The frame is full of straight lines, so you've got a guide to go by, and that's all there is to that. The integrity of this staying attached to the frame obviously is part and parcel of having a properly smoke listed door opening. It's as important as it being self-closing and self-latching when you look at the entire overall assembly of the opening. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Xero products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Xero, this is their part number 188S-GY, or any other Xero product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.